Hello, everyone. Welcome to our presentation on the reduction of social media use.
Purpose. The purpose of conducting this study is to evaluate the effectiveness of a screen time limitation application aimed at reducing social media usage. This study enables researchers to dive into the significance of social media in our daily lives, facilitating the development of strategies to foster healthy social media usage and enhance overall well being.
The participants in this study included 5 females who all attend Ball State University and are currently enrolled in the Applied Behavior Analysis graduate program. The participants include 28-year-old Ivana, 30-year-old Ashanti, 27-year-old Danielle, Allison, and 34-year-old Rita. The experiment setting was flexible because the screen time application was programmed into all of the participants' iPhones. This allowed for convenient and accurate tracking of social media use, thereby enabling researchers to monitor and study participants' behavior in a more naturalistic and unobtrusive manner.
Moving along with the continued method section, I'm going to explain the behavior we were studying. The target behavior we studied was social media usage, and the operational definition of this behavior is any instance whenever an individual engages in specific activities on social media. So, for example, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram via a mobile device. Over the past century, social media has significantly influenced individuals and society at large, fundamentally altering daily life. Its pervasive presence shapes interactions and behaviors, manifesting in various forms of communication among individuals or groups. Platforms such as text messaging, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and others exemplify the breadth of social media's impact. For instance, whenever an individual engages with TikTok or Instagram on their mobile devices, they actively participate in social media usage. This includes actions such as scrolling through feeds, liking or reacting to posts, sharing content, sending messages, commenting on posts, viewing stories, participating in live streams, and any other interactions facilitated by social media applications accessed through a smartphone or similar mobile device. According to Liu et al. 2024, social media or social networks serve as platforms for identity, community, and application, enabling users to connect with online communities through sharing, exchanging, and creating information. Prominent examples include Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. These platforms amplify offline social interactions or translate them into visual forms for individuals.
This replication project consists of 5 graduate students between the ages of 27 and 34 who live in the eastern region of the United States. We use the Screen Time app to measure social media using applications such as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat. We used our iPhones for all social media and made use of a pre-made Screen Time app. This app recorded the duration of all social media apps and calculated the total time and duration for each. We then came to a mutual agreement that we would obtain data and create an A-B reversal design graph for each member. We obtained baseline data for the first 3 days and using the social media tracker, and a screenshot was sent to all participants to obtain IOA. Treatment included baseline, intervention, return to baseline, and return to intervention.
As per the original study, the IOA data was not collected or recorded. For the purpose of this presentation and for this project, we selected to use frequency for the IOA data as the information was accessible to everyone. As you'll see with the graphs presented by our group members, the data points that we selected to use for the IOA include for A1.2, for B1.1 and 4, for A2, points 1 and 3, and for B2, we use points 2 and 5. For the treatment fidelity, there was also no treatment fidelity that was listed in the study. We created a self-reported checklist and a behavior allocation survey, which was used to assess baseline and intervention data and was submitted on the days of the screen time screenshots that were submitted and recorded. In addition to creating a self-reported checklist and having designated submission dates, one individual would oversee the incoming screenshots, record the screenshots in a single document, and send reminder text messages the day before the submission. In addition, data collection and averages are collected and recorded using a technological service provided by Apple instead of individual collection. For treatment integrity, we use the points for A1, point 3, for B1, points 2 and 5, for A2, points 2 and 4, and for B2, points 1 and 3. As mentioned in the previous slide, we use several forms and surveys throughout our study. Shown below is our behavior allocation survey, which includes different activities such as reading, watching TV, exercise, talking on the phone, texting, schoolwork, job, religious activities, hanging out with friends, hanging out with a romantic partner, hanging out with family, crafts, playing a musical instrument, using social media, cooking, playing video games, surfing the internet, and an option for other activities not listed above. As demonstrated, any time that was used not on social media could be collected during the intervention periods and recorded in the survey. Additionally, we had a treatment fidelity checklist that asks yes and no questions based on the various questions and has a section for comments. Some of the main topics of this survey and checklist is time spent on social media, alternative engagement, distraction-free activities, self-reflection, emotional well-being, reinforcement and rewards, and additionally, adjustments.
The results in my graph shows that there is a clear functional relationship between baseline and intervention phases, and the intervention was successful in reducing social media usage. In the baseline A1 and B1 phase, there is a moderate level of social media usage, and in the intervention A2 and B2 phases, there is a stable low level of social media usage. My baseline mean in minutes for the initial baseline phase was 138.3 minutes. The initial baseline ranged from 88 minutes to 195 minutes. The treatment mean was decreased to 16 minutes, and the treatment range was from 8 to 28 minutes. When I returned back to baseline from the intervention, I increased back up to about 116.4 minutes, and then returned to baseline range was about 83 to 152 minutes. The last return to treatment mean was 7.2 minutes, and the return to treatment range was 4 to 14 minutes.
Taking a look at the graph, an examination of the data revealed an overlap between the baseline and the intervention phases with a little moderate variability. However, a discernible functional relationship between the intervention and the behavior was not apparent. This was due to the fact that during the intervention, there was an option to ignore the screen time limits, and I occasionally chose to disregard the screen time limitations, which compromised the integrity of the study. Social media serves as a coping mechanism for stress relief. I found myself resorting to it for extended periods on stressful days, including one evening during the intervention phase. This anomaly impacted the study results, precluding that the establishment of a clear functional relationship between the intervention and behavior was not clear. And notably, the average screen time during the study was approximately about 62.8 minutes, with a natural variability in the usage pattern.
For my data graph, there was an average of 94.7 minutes For beginning with my baseline data, we can tell that there is a moderate level of my data trend, with my baseline mean being 242 minutes. My initial baseline range was from 136 to 367 minutes. As we move into the first intervention, or B1, the intervention mean ended up being 13.7 minutes, with the range being 2 to 20 minutes. As we can see with the graph, there is a very low level of the data line, and we can tell that there is a pretty stable trend. When we return back to baseline, or A2, my average mean was 119.8 minutes, with the range being from 16 to 202 minutes. As you can see, there's a little bit of variability in this baseline trend, and it had a low to moderate range. As we returned back to the second intervention, the average mean ended up being 3.1 minutes, and the range was zero point 0.5 to 7 minutes. One thing to note with the data trends and with the functional relationships, the values during the intervention or the treatment was too low for a functional relationship to be depicted.
So for my graph, you can see that there is a lot of overlapping between all baseline phases and intervention phases. With that being said, that means there's no functional relationship within the graph, as well as seeing no stable trend within my graph. With that conclusion, you can see that using the screen time app wasn't as effective on my side as it was for other participants in the study.
Looking at this graph, it is evident that there is a functional relationship between the baseline and intervention, leading to a reduction in social media app usage. During the baseline phase, the frequency of cell phone usage is relatively high, soaring around 120. In the treatment phase, there is a significant decrease in cell phone usage frequency, dropping to around 40. The baseline 2 phase returns to a higher cell phone usage level, similar to the initial baseline phase. The treatment 2 phase again demonstrates a marked reduction in cell phone usage frequency, which values around 20, even lower than the first treatment phase. Overall, the graph indicates that the treatment phases were effective in reducing the frequency of cell phone usage compared to the baseline phases.
There were three limitations to this study, which included technological issues, software issues, and a small sample size. The technological issues, there were difficulty maintaining, referencing, and retrieving information from Apple due to the setting only maintaining data for 1 month, or due to iPhone issues such as damages or replacements of the device. With software issues, there was an option to bypass the screen time limit, which hindered the effectiveness of the intervention. And then with the small sample size, past intervention studies and missing objective measures for social media use included small sample numbers in the research. So it's imperative to conduct further research to identify effective therapies for problematic social media use.
Overall, the current replication study was created and explored the effectiveness of a package intervention, utilized alternative behaviors, contingency management, and app limitations for reducing the duration of daily social media use via cellular devices, including all iPhones. Our results show that this intervention was successful for at least 3 out of the 5 participants, showing a functional relationship and effectively decreasing the duration of social media use. The findings were consistent with the Stinson and Dallery article. IOA and treatment integrity for all participants was favorable between 90 to 100%. Continued research must be performed on variables such as accessibility, daily schedules, personal and family issues, and emergencies, and even the cost effectiveness of social media use.